What up, guys? Coach Colin podcast, where I take the gems out of the podcast that I watch and I bring them to you. And by gems, I mean clips that can help you grow from a personal development standpoint. As a high performance coach, I find certain things that are said in podcasts really need to be brought to a broader audience, because a lot of people don't sit through the 2.5 hours of a podcast, but I do. And I find all these little things that I really think could help a lot of people grow. So today we're watching, as you can see, David Goggins, 1906, Joe Rogan podcast, JRE. And here he's talking about the hidden work it takes in order to grow and improve and change. And it's just a really cool insight into the mind of someone who people would say has a insane mindset. So I just wanted to play this for you guys. So here it goes. This clip has been really, really wild for some reason. It's been really bad for me. I hope it works. Let's go.
She was struggling. So it was like me and my mom. And so it was a lot of just me. So when you're waking up every morning by yourself and you're fucking getting after it by yourself, and it's the hidden work. People see a 1 minute video of me running and shit, and like these fighters, they see during the fight or after the fight. They don't see these motherfuckers, man, what they deal with every fucking day. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be here. Because every day, even though they're fucking the best in the world, that little motherfucker at 7 or 8 years old is still in there saying, "Oh man, we don't have something. Man, we're not good enough. We shouldn't be here." So you're always fighting that motherfucker. Even though you beat it, you never truly beat it. So when they get on stage and they're talking to Joe Rogan, it's not even real. It's not even real. All those mornings that you didn't want to fucking get up, and I look at it as like a rock, and you find this fucking rock, and that rock is you. And every day you fucking fight not wanting to get up, and you do anyway. You chip another piece off that fucking rock. And every day you fucking eat the right foods, and every day you go to train, and you train harder and harder and harder and harder, and you get up earlier, and all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're chipping another fucking piece of that rock off. Before you know it, you have this beautiful fucking piece of artwork that you built. But people don't, and then once you get there, you see it, and it becomes real. Like, oh my God, I fucking did this shit. And so like the fucking journey becomes so real then. But so many people aren't willing to fucking chip away at that stone that is them, to start chipping off those fucking rough edges.
That's the fear. The fear is never reaching your potential.
That's it.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
Yep.
I could have been great.
I never forget one time I was running by a graveyard when I was fucking just trying to become, I was fat. And I ran by a graveyard and I looked out there, and I have all these epiphanies, man. I have all these fucking moments of it's crazy, man, of this thought. Cause I'm always by myself and I'm always in deep fucking thought about how to be better. And I look out there, I'm like, man, I wonder how many of you motherfuckers in there fucking just are so upset with how you lived your life. And fucking just regret how you lived it. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man, don't fucking die like this, bro. Don't die like this. So people wonder where this shit comes from me. It comes from such deep thought of trying to see what this is all about. What is this life all about? What am I all about? Why am I here? I had to find purpose. And my suffering, it had a purpose. It had a fucking purpose.
Man, David Goggins, only guy to run by a cemetery and say, I wonder how all you motherfuckers. He runs by cemeteries and he just goes, you motherfuckers, you could have been great, you pussies. And he just keeps going. It's amazing. He's the only guy that does that. People go by cemeteries and they're just like, oh, poor people died, passed away. I wonder what they were like. And he's just like, bunch of bitches. Just lazy in your graves, bunch of bitches. Man, but it's such a crazy insight to think that, and I feel it myself, but I won't put myself on like David Goggins' level, but there's often a like, oh, I'm not good enough. And, you know, you start to notice, because like I said, I'm a coach. So I sit with a lot of people and talk, and I notice a lot of people have problems with self-worth and just feeling like they're not good enough, feeling like they could do so much better. It's a real trend that I'm starting to see. I've coached a lot of people so far, and yeah, I'm seeing a big trend of like people having issues with self-worth. And it's crazy. It's just crazy to see that. It's sad to have your self-worth impacted and to feel like it's always in question, but it's wild how it tends to bring about a lot of greatness. Now, don't get me wrong, it brings about a lot of other things, addiction, like myself. I was addicted to drugs for like 20 years. It brings about a lot of different stuff, but it brings about some greatness too. You know, like in part of this episode, he's like, he realized that he was a piece of shit and he needed to get going. You know, I felt that before. I felt like, man, why aren't I, you know, progressing faster? Why aren't I further along? Like, I need to get going. And then, you know, it's almost like cramming for a test. It's like, man, I should have been studying years ago and I just haven't. So now I got to study every single day, all the time. But yeah, just a little window into the mindset of someone like that. It's a weird balance, because it's like you want to look up to people like that, but you don't want to have that mindset of feeling like I shouldn't be here and I'm not good enough. It's weird because it's like you want to get to those places, that higher echelon places, but you shouldn't go through life thinking that you're not good enough. You know, like you're good enough. You are good enough. You're good, and you deserve good things. You're good enough to get where you want to go in life. But for some reason, if you have the determination mixed with feeling like you're not good enough, it gets you into like really great places. It's this weird catch-22, I guess you'd say, you know? And I guess at the same time, when you see somebody who's like exceptionally good, like incredibly good at what they do, you can almost be sure that there's like some dark shit going on inside their head. And that's how they got so good. So it's like, you want to feel good or do you want to be great? Because you don't get both. Nah, you do though. It's just, I guess it's a balance of like, I am good enough and I should feel good with who I am, but also I know that there's some intense work that has to happen in order for me to be great. And I'm ready to take on that intense work because I know that I am good where I am, but I can be so much better. And I guess the key thing is to acknowledge both sides. Acknowledge that you have so much work to do in order to be great at what you're doing and what you want to become. But also acknowledge that you're okay where you are. You don't have to feel like he put it. You don't have to feel like a piece of shit where you are. Don't feel like that. You know, but know that there's so much more inside of you. Right? Almost like a mindset of like, if I'm already this good, then how much better could I be? You know, don't look down on either side. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clip real quick. I think this podcast has a lot of gems inside of it. If you do have the bandwidth to sit down for 2 hours, or even just put it in your headphones and just walk around for 2 hours, I don't know, like maybe you work at a warehouse. When I worked at warehousing jobs, I used to just listen to podcasts all day. And it's probably why I got fired all the time. Other than that. But yeah, if you have the bandwidth, listen to it. It's a really good podcast. Really, really good. And David just released a book called Never Finished. I have not gotten into it yet, but I'm going to. I'm probably just gonna get the Audible version for now. I don't know if I want to sit down and read that book, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way, he's a great guy, and yeah, like and subscribe. Get on there. Get on that like button. Get on that subscribe button. Get on that notifications button. Coach Colin, bringing you the gems, bringing you the self-improvement that's within every single podcast. And I'm actually going to take a stab at No Jumper soon, because there are some gems inside of No Jumper, and also there's some psychological things to pick apart inside of No Jumper. So I might get into that soon. But anyways, that's been the podcast. I'm out. Peace.